Hello students, we had already discussed that the quantity with which quantum mechanics is concerned is known as wave function psi. Psi, as we have already discussed, itself has no physical significance. No physical significance. The square of its absolute magnitude, that means this is the absolute value. Now square of its absolute magnitude evaluated at a particular place at a particular time is proportional to the probability of finding the particle at that time at that place. So the linear momentum, angular momentum, energy or the other physical quantities of the body can be established with the help of this wave function psi. So psi is important for us in quantum mechanics. Now our problem in quantum mechanics is to find out this psi. So the wave function usually, as we already discussed, is a complex quantity which contains both the real and imaginary part. As we discussed in case of free particle, the wave function psi is a exponential iota kx minus omega t. So this is the way, as we had already discussed, to define the behavior of free particle in quantum mechanics. So it contains both real part and imaginary part because here is term exponential iota. So the probability, however, must be a positive real quantity. The probability density, this or the square of its absolute magnitude for a complex is therefore considered as psi star into psi. So where this psi star is the complex conjugate of psi, that means we will replace iota to minus iota in psi, then we will get this psi star. That means here psi star is, in this case it is xa star exponential minus iota kx minus omega t. This is the way how we write psi star. Psi star is complex conjugate, that means we are replacing iota by minus iota. So in general, every complex function, wave function, we can write it as psi equal to a plus iota b. Then its complex conjugate can be written as psi star equal to a minus iota b. Now the probability of finding the particle at any place at any time, that means square of its absolute magnitude is psi star psi. So it will be a minus iota b into a plus iota b. So it will be a square plus b square. So it indicates that this square of its absolute magnitude is always a real number. So the way in which we had defined this probability is always a real number. It cannot be negative. So as we know, the probability of finding the particle is always positive. So we had defined this in this way. Okay. So before considering the actual calculation of psi, we can establish certain requirements it must always fulfill. The one thing is that the square of its absolute magnitude is proportional to probability density of finding the particle described by this wave function psi, and the integral of this psi square over all space must be finite. If over the whole space, that means minus infinite to plus infinite, square of absolute psi into dv is 0, that means particle does not exist, and the integral obviously cannot be infinite, and still mean anything. Furthermore, psi square cannot be negative or complex because the way we had defined it. So the probability, the only possibility left is that the integral should be finite. So this value should be finite if psi have to describe some physical system or a real body. So it is convenient to write this psi square as the probability of finding the particle or the probability density. So we denote it with the help of P in our full course. So if psi square is equal to probability, then it must be true that minus infinite to plus infinite psi square into dv equal to 1. This is the normalization condition. Since if the particle exists somewhere at all the time, that means the probability of finding the particle in the space should be 1. So instead of this psi, it's better to write it as minus infinite to plus infinite p into dv equal to 1. This is the normalization condition. So for a well-behaved wave function which describes some real body or system, then the probability of finding the particle in the space should be 1. That means the normalization condition must be fulfilled. So every acceptable wave function can be normalized by multiplying it by an appropriate constant. We will discuss these things in our coming lectures also. So here we will discuss about the well-behaved wave functions. So besides this normalization condition, psi must be single valued. So here we are summarizing. First is psi must be continuous and single valued everywhere. Second is curl psi upon curl x. If we are talking about three-dimensional, curl psi upon curl y, curl psi upon curl z must be continuous and single valued everywhere. Now the third condition is psi must be normalizable. Which means that, what is the meaning of this normalization? As we had already discussed, which means that psi must go to 0 as x approaches to plus minus infinite, y approaches to plus minus infinite, z approaches to plus minus infinite if we are talking about the three-dimensional system, in order that the integral of square of absolute value of psi over the space dv be a finite constant. Overall space be a finite constant. These rules are always obeyed by the wave function of particle in model situations that only approximate actual ones. So you must keep in mind while discussing about the wave function of a particle. We will discuss in more details in our coming lectures how to define the wave function of a particle in a box. That is the important example in quantum mechanics, very important from both application point of view and from your exam point of view. Please subscribe the channel for more lectures on quantum mechanics. Thank you for watching.